It's like a little elevator for my microphone.
Welcome, everybody.
You can't hear the what?
Can't hear what?
Oh, no. Uh-oh.
Do, 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 do.
Do, 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 do.
Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, awesome.
All right.
In that case.
We're going to go on forward from here. Welcome, Monsters and Minstrels. Welcome, players and DMs. Welcome, guests, production mistress, Kadra, and my good friend, Allie, who is our wonderful, wonderful person who is now freaking out because something's not working on her sound for the Twitch stream. But that's okay because she's going to figure it out because she is that good.
And she can hear us anyway.
Yeah, she can hear us.
She's
from
like
here.
right over there.
At any rate, so last week we did Snark. We did Kiss Our Collective Tookuses. Tonight we're going to be a little more, nicer anyway, for the most part. And we're going to discuss things like world building. We're going to discuss things like pride.
Yep. Inclusivity in gaming.
Yep. We're also going to start out with every one of the sections reminding ourselves that it's time for us to shill for the tavern. Please go on to YouTube, hit the like, the subscribe, and ring the bell. When you go on Twitch, hit the follow. It doesn't cost you a dime. It helps us out a lot. Talk to us, yell at us, scream at us, call us names. I don't care. I'm a fat white dude. You can pick on me. I'm cool with it. But please just go there and hit those buttons. It helps out the tavern, it helps out the stream, and it helps out all the other streams that go on too. Now, we're done, pitching our little thing there.
Pitching the pitch.
Pitching the pitch. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to have to do a little bit of creative engineering here about space because I'm not a very small person. And we're going to get Alder back here because it's his turn to talk. You, I need you. You are my guest. Now, I need you here. And don't step on my wires. You get a wireless mic. Now, hold on. Come to the edge. Because you have to be in the frame. Production mistress is going to line us up.
People want to see you.
Yeah, they don't want to see us.
They can just come in on the weekend and see.
I'm going to leave that alone.
Oh.
Talking to the microphone, Alder.
Probably going to have to hold it pretty close.
That's what she said.
There you go.
I'm going to leave that alone for the sake of decency. This is a PG-13 cast.
Pretty sure it's not.
I wouldn't say the cast
Oh, I'm
is
sorry. Let me go ahead and
PG-13.
break that. Fuck. Anyway, now we've already
we
broken
go.
that rule.
Now,
All
you're going
right.
to say fuck twice for it not to be PG-13. Oh, there he goes. Yeah, there
Fuck
it is.
twice.
All right.
Okay, so here what we're going to start out with. We're going to start out with Alder is going to tell us who he is, what Alder does. I'm not sure. Help me out on my ignorant ass, okay? Pronouns.
They, them, their, or masculine.
They, their, them, or
Yeah.
masculine.
So neutral or masculine.
Okay, fair
so
enough.
he's fine.
Or just Alder.
Because I don't want to screw anything up. And this is part of the lesson we're going to talk about today for old grognards like me. Alder's going to tell us about the games you're in, the edition you started with. Give us your gaming pedigree and make it sound fancy and everything, okay? When did you start playing D&D or RPGs?
Yeah. About age 12, which at so 22.
What'd you start on?
Second ed, D&D.
Okay.
Your classic.
Okay.
Found a box set, ran through it. Mostly, I just go with D&D and now Pathfinder because that's what my group plays.
Right.
I do some video gaming, but not.
What's your preferred ed?
Anything that's not fourth.
That's a good answer.
That's fair.
That's the greatest answer, actually. Real quick, like,
That's the correct answer.
what is your non-D&D favorite game system?
Non-D&D favorite game system. For tabletop,
Yeah.
I haven't played a whole lot of them. BESM was fun. Big Eye, Small Mouth.
Yeah, BDSM was a lot of fun. That was the
I thought you
D20
said
Modern
something
Anime,
entirely
wasn't it?
different there.
BDSM was a lot of
That's
fun.
like that's a game system?
Okay, that technically that is role playing.
Maybe I've only
However,
played maybe I've only played the LARP version of that.
ooh,
I like the way you can build characters and really break them and piss off your game master.
and later on when things your DM hates comes up.
Let's see.
Oh, here's a good question for you. Here's a good question. If you had to pick one class and only one class to ever play, this is provided, of course, you're playing a class-based system. So
Bard.
you're the fucking guy that wants to seduce the fish, aren't you?
No. I played my one Bard character I am playing right now is Ace. He doesn't want to seduce anybody. He just wants to play pretty music and do flashy lights and worship the god of death.
You know, there's not enough hours in the day for me to talk about this at length. I'm not gonna, but it's okay. Let's talk about a couple other subjects, just really briefly for a second. You said you're running, you're building a world right now, right?
Yes.
Okay. And what edition are you building it in Pathfinder?
Yes, I'm actually building several worlds. Both of them, if they would be, or one is for both novelization and for eventually we'll get the rules hashed out for Pathfinder. So I'm actually building it with Jenna.
Okay.
But
Hello, lovely and
was-
talented Jenna. How are you?
it was her original brain baby because she was started building it for a novel that she's writing, and then we started building it together for possibly later game running. And then the other one that I am building is for Pathfinder. And that's a complicated mess in of itself.
Okay, cool. One of the subjects we wanted to talk about tonight, given what month it is, Pride Month, and this is, you were also, call it like it is, we brought you on because it's Pride Month, specifically because I wanted you to come in and talk with us. And I got a question for you that may or may not have affected you at all. And here's that question. When you first started gaming, did you start gaming with a group that was inclusive of who you are? Or did you ever have to fight any wars with gamers about being you and who you are and how you are?
I didn't personally have to fight any wars. I mean, I started gaming with my brother, and I didn't really even know myself or come out as first trans till I was like 25 or so.
Okay.
But being not heterosexual, half my gaming group wasn't, so that really wasn't an issue.
Okay, so you didn't have that issue like a lot of
No.
like what I always talk about here recently. A good friend of mine from way back in the day died, and he was my first. And I grew up in the South, you know, banjos and Bibles flying by randomly. I grew up in the South where you had to lie to the preacher's kids and tell the preacher's wife you were going to go gamble for money because that was more acceptable than playing the devil game. And but you know, just the fact that somebody might not be heterosexual involved in it would have been even more so. They'd all been praying outside and casting out demons on us. But there was a young man that I met, and he never wanted to go by his real name, so he always went by the name he chose, which was Furman Thompson. And he died recently, and he was my first experience with anybody who wasn't heterosexual in the South back when I was a kid, and especially at the RPG table.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, 8 years later, I look up and I learn a little bit more. Oh, look, there's a lot more people who are, you know, like Furman at the table. Some of them I just looked right through and didn't even understand it at first. You know?
Yeah, because I mean, especially back when you rode dinosaurs, it was
Yeah. It was not acceptable. It was,
Yeah.
and especially where I'm from, like I said, it was, you know, they were going to cast out demons if they figured out you were anything but, you know, straight
Right.
white and drank Miller Lite.
My brother did have a friend who had to create his own system so he can play, because it wasn't D&D, so it wasn't, demon worship if it wasn't D&D, even if it used the exact same rules, but that's the only...
Call it something different.
Yeah, but that's and what he could play to join us at the table. And then one of my friends, her mom had decided that my brother was a leader of a cult because he was our DM, and that D&D was wholly evil, even though they weren't particularly religious or anything. So instead, she bought my friend World of Darkness books because somehow
wasn't
that
D&D.
right, like it was
was
on the
not
back
Dungeons
of
and
it. There was
Dragons.
literally a wolven with like upside down pentagram like carved into his foot. But that's not evil. D&D is evil because my brother ran it.
How much do you think that was influenced by his sexuality?
Oh well, my brother's straight.
How
My
much do you think it would have been about his sexuality at one point?
I think it was more because my friend's mom really did not like our family.
Now, see, I can remember
So-
people. I can remember people who I found out, years later because I was that were not straight, and they were gamers, with me for years, which was an interesting revelation for my brain at like 22. But I remember. I remember conversations with people about how hanging out with so-and-so was bad because they weren't right. And it took me years to figure out what that meant, read that subtext. And I figured that out, and I was like, this is bullshit.
So what you're saying is you got better.
I got way better. But anyway, now, so what is your video gaming pedigree? Do you have one?
My video game pedigree is probably like 10 games.
What are they?
Let's see. I have played Lunar and Lunar 2.
Okay.
I have a couple of the Fallout games, Skyrim, the Dragon Age games, Pathfinder Kingmaker,
Yeah.
and right now I'm still just blindly obsessing over Sims because it has no plot. So it's like I
Plotless
make
games
my
are pretty
own
fun.
little.
Do your own thing.
Build a pool, remove ladder, fun for everyone.
No, you have to find more creative ways to kill them in Sims 4 than that.
Yeah, they actually figure out a way to climb out after a certain point.
Wow.
They up the AI pretty good. Sims is pretty fun. I don't play Sims because I'll sit there for like 4 days and not bathe and not eat and stare at the screen.
Right? You're like, no, you need to bathe and go eat and do all the. No, clean
You
your
go
house.
Clean your house. Never mind my house. My room is a pigsty. But
I think the real trick is to get all your Sims to get like computer science degrees and stuff, and then prove that they're in a simulation.
ooh, that's just dirty. Now, here's 2 questions for you, and I'm going to present them to you as if you have. I don't want to say a problem, but you may have people who are coming in that have an issue or are ignorant. I don't want to say dumb. I don't want to say phobic. I want to say ignorant. Because I'm really hoping people are past this kind of shit for the most part. But I know better. But let's not talk about that because it'll make me angry. And I'll start screaming and waving my arms more than normal. Let's just say that you're going to be a GM. And you've got people that you want to show inclusiveness in the games. How do you go about doing it? When is it too much? When is it too little? How do you avoid the Lily White D&D syndrome?
Well, in one of the worlds I'm building, the elves have 8 recognized genders.
Okay.
There you go.
That's more than I'm going to be able to follow, but all right.
Which is like half the usual amount for elves.
For elves,
Okay, you're right, sorry.
I mean, nobody can tell other than them because they have strict gender roles.
How can you
Just
tell it's a female dwarf? She has 4 hairs on her chin, not 8.
No, she has 16.
Oh, sorry.
Well, that's the thing with dwarves. Some of the female dwarves have beards, some don't.
I can say that. Anyway. Come on.
I'm just typically unapologetically queer in the games I run and or play in.
Okay.
I think the last time I made a cis and heterosexual character was when I was 12. And that involves any NPCs that I have in the world. I have a really hard time actually making non-queer communities or non-racially mixed communities.
Fair enough.
I'm just like, everybody goes in the pot. It's
No.
rainbow.
Now, see, I've always shied away from.
I was waving the flag.
In the face. What?
Ooh, I've got a question though. Have you thought about or done this where you purposely include like racism and bigotry in your D&D world to kind of show that hey, it's not, it's,
Yes,
this is
I-
a bad thing and this is terrible and
I have used it as one of the evil driving forces, or to show some of the base cruelty that goes along with evil in one way or form or another, be it making laws against certain things, which can get you executed, or
Which is a reality of our present day
Yes.
situation in the world, but let's not discuss
but
that
it's
either.
it's one of those really hard balances between trying to show these as the evils that they are versus wanting to give a utopia that this isn't an issue. And it can be kind of a catch-22, and you kind of cater it around the players you have in your game and knowing what they want out of a game.
Right.
Just like with anything else, like, well, do your heroes want to fight the evil crime syndicate, or do they want to be the evil crime syndicate? Do you want to use this for a big learning arc for some people, or just say, the curve's really high, get used to it now?
Okay. Now, you talked about the last time you did a cis character that was hetero was you were 12. I've always
I just can't
I've always
honestly
I've always
remember, but-
tried to avoid playing a non-hetero character. And not because I have an objection to non-hetero, but I'm not so sure if I could do it.
It's
Without turning it into a caricature of itself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I get it. Even being part of the rainbow community, sometimes playing somebody who identifies differently than me, I have a little
You feel a
about.
little cringy about it.
Yeah, because I'm like, well, how do I properly represent a trans woman's
Right. Right.
experiences and how they feel versus the trans masculine experience? Because I know that one quite well, but
Right.
I don't know the other spectrum. So then it's a lot of just knowing you don't mean disrespect, and don't treat it like that's the only aspect. Like, it's just an aspect of a character. It's not necessarily even the first one. Like,
Sure.
okay, it's a fighter. They're a dragonborn. They like this thing, and oh yeah, they like both multiple genders.
Okay.
I think
So
it's a lot of it goes along the lines of writing, say, writing a gay character for whatever it is, for TV,
Yeah.
for an RPG, whatever. You want to avoid making that. Is that the
only-
reason the character is there?
Yeah.
And
Is the
And
character
is
just
there
there
an-
to fill the
if
gay
your
part?
if your
Yeah.
answer is the character's there to be a gay character, well, then you're doing
You're
it wrong.
you're screwing it up.
And do they have any other qualities
Other than just
other
being
than
gay
being,
or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
It's making a balanced character. It's like the strong female character trope where she's just the dude with boobs, more or less, not,
I get
in
what
the
you're
cut and
saying.
dry wording,
Yeah.
where it's, that I'm gonna, shun all feminine things and blah, 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 because I'm a tough female character. It's like, no, yes, but what's wrong with also liking to wear heels and a little blush while you're kicking ass, because drag queens do it amazingly.
Yeah. All right, now that's a pretty good way to end that first block. Dave, you're up for singing now.
Yeah.
I think he's
And-
going to do something a cappella tonight, but I'm going to get out of the way.
And I'd like to have you join me, Alder.
Yep, Alder, you're going to be singing with him.
What? But my voice is shitty.
That's okay. I've heard you sing at karaoke.
Yeah,
You're-
no, but my
you'll be
throat
fine.
is shitty, so my voice is shitty.
Oh, then this song is perfect.
Wait, what are we doing? Are you gonna make me read music? Cause
No, not at all.
okay, cause I haven't done that in a very long time.
Yeah, this should be a fun one.